West Coast Clash. So we're just getting ready to start the next game, Victorian Roller Derby Thunder Bees versus the Brisbane City Red Kennedys. I'm commentating today. My name is Judy Bench. I'm one of the Diamond Firetail bench staff. So for this game, they're just doing the final warm-ups. And I'll just quickly run through the team lineups while we've got some time. Skating in blue is the Victorian Roller Derby Thunder, or Thunder Bees. And we have 00 Quinby, 039 Jigglytuff, 05 Possum Riot, 08 Pulp Friction, 106 Katie Chaos, 161 Killer Curls, 21 Vanessa Shredgrave, 2627 How's Yeah, 273 Mei Fang, 29 Booger, 64 Free Toby, 75 Great Dane, 78 Kaiju, 88 Raff, and 89 Turbo Spicy. And skating in red is the Brisbane City Roller Red Kennedys, 14 Thunderpuss, 221 Bad Wolf, 222 Happy Little Vegemite, 25 Sawyer Legs Off, 268 Glitch, 24 Riley, 314 Scrapple Pie, 56 Purple Rain, 57 Quiet Riot, 613 Axel Rolls, 63 Melcatraz, 703 Peppermint Crunch, 717 B Rex, 88 Speed Angel, and 902 Jessica Rabbit. And teams are returning to their benches as we are close to getting ready. Just under a minute and a half to go. This game is a sanctioned game being played for rankings points. This is actually BCR Red Kennedy's, I believe, first game to be seeded within the rankings for the WFTDA, or the WFTDA, Women's Flat Track Roller Derby Association. And that will go towards the Oceania regions rankings. So the Thunder is being made up of players from all different levels of VRDL. So this is going to be quite an interesting game. They've played a couple together against a team who have played a lot together. So yeah, good little mix-up for this first ranking game for the Red Kennedys. We do have a brilliant officials lineup, which I'll probably get to in a little while. Keeping an eye on everything, making sure all is safe, as we have just under 20 seconds till the game starts. First lineups are taking the track, and we're going to have 08 Pulp Friction jamming for VRDL, and 24 Riley for the Red Kennedys. And Sister Violence gets a game underway. Nice blocking there from Hell's Yeah in blue to recycle the jammer back, and Pulp Friction out for lead in being given direction to points and call. He's spinning through the pack, hitting the ground and calling it off quickly before Riley can get any points. Score is 2 for Thunder and 0 for Red Kennedys. Lining up now, we have 268 in red, that's Glitch, versus 78 Kaiju in blue. guide you out for lead for Thunder. But Glitch isn't too far behind. Quick call off, no points picked up for either. Red Kennedys will be going into this jam down a pivot, but it's not a full lineup for VRDL. We do have one player in the penalty box as well, so it's a 3-3 pack. So we have Turbo Spicy 8-9 in blue and Speed Angel 8-8 in red. Turbo Spicy out quickly for lead. Big hit from Jigglytuff on Speed Angel at the front of the pack. It has meant that they've been kept in, allowing Turbo Spicy to score some points while Speed Angel is still on initial. A few penalties being picked up by VRDL at the moment. And while there might only be 2 blockers out there for VRDL, Quimby and Jigglytuff are definitely making it tough. Shreds rejoining the pack for Thunder. And more points there from Turbo Spicy. Directions being given by the bench to remain calm. And at the moment, Gemma, Speed Angel is still fighting against that front wall. Bad Wolf, the pivot for the Red Kennedys, is trying to get into position. Unfortunately, the drawback is taking the jammer further and further away from them. Another penalty being picked up by the Red Kennedys. And the star pass happened just as the natural conclusion of the jam happened. So with that, at the end of that jam, we have Thunder Bees 11, the Red Kennedys 0. And that was a 9-point jam by Turbo Spicy. Up next we have 6-4, Free Toby in blue. I believe that is Saw Your Legs Off 2-5 in red. I am appreciative of the Saw Your Legs Off pun. Great derby name. Bit of a split pack happening. They're all nicely reformed now. Both jammers are still stuck in the pack. Neither seems to be getting much advantage. Lots of recycling happening. Saw Your Legs Off almost got through. Unfortunately, just went off on the inside. Coming up to turn 3, still no lead jammer. It was very, very tight. Both packs have been very, very, very tough. However, it is a power jam now. Just Saw Your Legs Off. But they still have a very tough tripod to defend, like to manage to push their way through. Looks like that's Killer Curls, Mayfang, it might be Quimby, just missing who's there as pivot. But so your legs off through a 4-lead jammer. That was a very successful time waste in regards to that power jam, allowing only very minimal time for them to score any points, and that's 1 point for Sawyer Legs Off. After all of that time and effort trying to get through the pack, they did manage to pick up 1 point, and that just puts them on the board. Thunderbees 12, Red Kennedys 1. And we have Glitch and Pulp Friction lining up as jammers. Friction in blue, Glitch in red. And 2 blockers just took themselves off track while trying to block Friction. Friction has been given lead, however, a bit of a skate malfunction there with the shoelace coming undone, almost stripped them over. However, because they were lead, they were able to call it off before having to come off to get their skate looked at. And I will say I do appreciate the communication from their bench as soon as they realised what was happening. Call it off, be safe. But that brings us to Kaiju 7-8 in blue versus Riley 2-4 in red. Just having the refs have a quick official timeout while they are fixing the tape on track. So while that is happening, I'm going to go through the officials. We have as jam timer Sister Violence, and Body, Brianna, Chaos, Dan Tudin, Bullseye, Kilohertz, Bruznikov, Rogue, The Beast, and Scare Bear as NSOs. And I'll get to the skating officials shortly. We have Riley out there for a very quick lead to the Red Kennedys. Kaiju tried very hard to stay in on track. Unfortunately, they went over the line up on the while they were trying to juke on the inside, and so got called for a cut. That was a very quick call off from Riley, looking at maximising the power jam start, it looks like. They did pick up 4 points before they called it, and Sister Violence's okay, it looks like the penalty has been revoked, meaning that we will actually have a VRDL jammer lining up at the start. Sister Violence is there calling off the end of the official timeout while the refs had finished working out penalties. Both teams have 3 blockers apiece. And Glitch got through for a very, very quick lead jam. Turbo Spicy is still stuck in the pack. 4 blockers now for VRDL on track. And the 4th blocker for the Red Kennedys has re-entered. Turbo Spicy now out on their initial. Call from the bench coach for the Red Kennedys to call it. Glitch took a moment to call it off, just making sure that they picked up as many points as they could. And with that, Red Kennedys has now taken the lead. That's 13 to the Thunderbees 12 after putting up an 8-point jam. You have Free Toby and Sawyer Legs Off lining up. And so your legs off, pushing last player, and trying to get them to and out of play, and manages to pick up lead again. Free Toby is stuck at the back of the pack at the moment, trying hard to get through. And so your legs off is on scoring paths. Both packs are very fierce, very strong, and holding. Looks like star pass to Booker as the pivot, but with that, the points had been picked up, and bench coach for the Red Kennedys went, nope, that's enough, we don't need to go further. The score is 17-12. Red Kennedys with a slight lead. We have Friction versus Riley. And this has been a very interesting lineup between the two of them. Both of them are very quick, and both of them are managing to get out of the pack fast a lot of the time. So I am enjoying watching these two going up against each other. Halgier with the catch at the front, just as Riley almost got through. Now has the other two coming up to make it a lot harder. Unfortunately, Friction has gone to the penalty box, so it is a power jam. And lead has been given to Riley for the Red Kennedys. So they did start off a little bit shaky. The first couple of leads had been given to VRDL, but now they've been pretty solid with picking up lead now. The Friction has re-entered the pack. Star in hand. However, their pivot Shreds is up the front trying to hold Riley. Riley managing to spin through on their toe stops. A nice clear direction from the bench coach to call it off. I believe the bench coach for the Red Kennedys is Scarebear, who's been a long time BCR. I would say stalwart even, being a part of the club for a very long time. We do have a cuddle puddle in the middle for the Red Kennedys. A couple of people lying on the ground just relaxing and chilling. And a timeout's being called by Thunder. So with that, I'll go through the skating officials, since I didn't get to do that earlier. We have Cutthroat Kim as head ref, Denominator, Resting Bitch Pace, Slackerjack, Frankenherder, Bonnie Jovi, Candy Striper, and Vector. As I mentioned, this is actually the first rankings game, well, sanctioned game rankings game for the Red Kennedys. So within the Women's Flat Track Roller Derby Association, you need to go through seeding for the first couple of games, and then they kind of know where you are ranked against other teams. So this is their first one of those ranking games. And while Thunder is technically a new team, they have kind of taken over for the Queen Bees, so their rankings is following on from the Queen Bees rankings. We have Speed Angel and Turbo Spicy out on track, with Speed Angel getting lead. And Turbo Spicy getting a penalty, I believe. Cut track. Passive offense being played during this power jam. Although now they've gone for a bit of a sweep, however, has resulted in a few people hitting the ground. Speed Angel picked up 4 points and then called it off. Icing the Thunder Jammer, Turbo Spicy in the bin. Although they do have less than 10 seconds in there. An official timeout has been called. It looks like something has happened, which has resulted in Turbo Spicy being switched out for Pulp Friction in the penalty box. I believe there might be some skate issue or a safety gear issue. The Turbo Spicy is asked to be replaced so then they can get it all fixed up. We have Glitch out there for the Red Kennedys to take this power jam start, and Friction quickly coming out of the penalty box. And it looks like Glitch has been called for a cut track, leaving Pulp Friction as the only jammer on track, eligible to pick up lead if they get through. Jumping onto their one skate, turn around backwards through to get lead. Just as Glitch has returned on track. So Glitch is still on their initial pass. Friction picking up points, but being held very, very definitively in a tripod of doom. The Red Kennedys have really locked down in this tripod, and just when they think they can get through, they've got one waiting for them right at the top. Might have fallen over, but stayed on track and picking up points as Friction. We've got one blocker apiece serving in penalty at the moment. The jam came to its natural conclusion. However, right at the end, we have the jammer going into the penalty box for the Red Kennedys, and an official review being called by Scare Bear for the Red Kennedys. It does get a little bit confusing because while I know that the bench coach is Scare Bear, we also have the NSO Scare Bear out there as well. So unfortunately, I won't get to hear what this is, but I'm assuming it's to do with the penalty being given to Glitch. So we'll wait and see what happens. So we have Axel Rolls as captain and Killer Curls as captain. So Axel Rolls for the Red Kennedys and Killer Curls for the Thunder Bees. And I am definitely a Sister Violence fangirl, so watching them doing this official review is just, oh, perfection. Official review has finished. As I said, I'm unfortunately unable to say what that official review is for. However, the Red Kennedy's jammer is still in the penalty box, so and we now have Kaiju as the Thunder jammer. Almost made it through on the inside, but got a very big hit to knock him out. Unfortunately, they only have 2 blockers to help Kaiju out, although Jigglytuff has re-entered to try for some offense, and then quickly having to tripod back up. But Glitch is out full lead coming in from the penalty box. Successful star pass with, I believe that is Booger now taking the star. All the Red Kennedy's jammer Glitch is picking up points. Thunder now out on their initial, and Glitch is there calling it off. Okay, so we now have Pulp Friction, and I believe that's Riley out there. Just getting some mic adjustments being done. Jam has started. Red Kennedy's on 37, Thunder Bees on 20. Have Friction at the back there, pushing away. And that was a bit of a race out the front. Although it looks like lead has been assigned to Pulp Friction while Riley has been sent to the penalty box. I think there was a little bit of miscommunication between bench and jammer, so only 2 points picked up there by Pulp Friction. Calling off the jam. So we have 2-9 lining up for Thunder, that's Booker, with Riley in the penalty box to start the jam. This is their first time today lining up as jam start. Normally been a pivot for Thunder. And unfortunately being called for a penalty, so we're going to have a jammer bounce. Even though Riley is coming in from the penalty box, they are still eligible to take lead, as no lead had been assigned already.
Just naturally softly spoken. If you can speak up a little bit, that will help. I will keep listening.
Booger has returned to track and skips on through. And from the ground, we have Riley calling it off, picking up an extra 2 points. Taking the score to Red Kennedys on 39, Thunder Bees 22. Just having a bit more track maintenance at the moment. Back to making sure that everything is taped down nicely and everyone's safe. So we're going to have Turbo Spicy up against Speed Angel again. Lead assign to Turbo Spicy over Speed Angel, both out together, so there was a little bit of confusion as to who actually had managed to pick up lead there. Both refs, both jam refs I should say, a little bit of discussion between them as they went past. Both jammers finding it hard to get through for their scoring passes. With Turbo Spicy getting out for 4 points. And Speed Angel finding it a little bit difficult going up against Howsier, Jigglytuff. It looks like Shreds is out there as well, and Wrath. But with that, Turbo Spicy has entered into a tripod made up of Purple Rain, Axel Rose. Who else is out there? Peppermint Crunch. And I'm missing the pivot. But it's been very tough tripod regardless. Happy little Vegemite. Jam being called off. We had a couple of scoring passes there for Turbo Spicy. So let's see how that's taken the score. Thunder Bees now on 34 to the Red Kennedys 42. 12-3 jam. We have Friction up against Sawyer Lexoff. False start being called on one of the Red Kennedy blockers, having to yield. It is a 3 to 4 blocker lineup at the moment. Although now it's gone to a 3-3. Currently do not have a lead jammer, although now that I just said that, Friction made a move. Not quite there. Still pushing. Thought it was almost going to be the curse of the commentator. So legs off has got a lead, but Friction is currently out in front, so they're going to call it off. Under 5 minutes left of this half. And timeout being called by the Red Kennedys. Lovely clock management there by Scarebearer's bench coach. Running the clock a little bit during the lineup period to make a late timeout call. Always very appreciative of that kind of thing. Once again, we've got the great arm movements there by Sister Violets doing the timeouts. Making it all into a dance. Rolling whistle for timeout over. Both teams now having to take the track again. Four and a half minutes left on the clock. We have Kaiju versus Glitch. Quimby from VRDL re-entering the track after serving a penalty, trying to give some offence out the front for Kaiju. And Glitch through for lead for the Red Kennedys. And we have a star pass from Kaiju across to Vanessa Showcave. But basically, they've gone, nope, we're calling this off. We don't need Shreds to jam against us, which is fair. Totally understand that. They picked up their points. So we now have Red Kennedys on 46 to the Thunder Bees 34. Ooh, we do have a very late official review being called during that lineup period. So official reviews going to the Thunder. Unfortunately, I won't get to hear this one either. And I can't quite work out what Dane's signal down there as they're describing what's going on. Lots of pointing. Lots of deliberation happening from the refs. While that's happening, I'll go through our official lineup again. We have Sister Violence, Body, Brianna, Chaos, Dan Tootin, Bullseye, Kilohertz, Bruznikov, Rogue, The Beast and Scarebear as non-skating officials, and Cutthroat Kim, Denominator, Resting Bitch Pace, Slackerjack, Frankenherder, Bonnie Jovi, Candy Striper and Vector on as RAFs. Vector being the alt ref and track maintainer. Rolling whistle, about to get things underway again. Haven't seen a penalty being assessed, so I'm going to assume that that was a denied official review. We have Booger out as lead with Riley right behind. Booger trying to pick up a couple of points and calling off before any given away. Manages to score 2. And we have the lineup of Turbo Spicy and Glitch. Bit of a slow start from both jammers. Oh, we have both jammers being sent to the penalty box, both for cuts. So this will go for the whole 2 minutes. And Glitch only needs to serve as long as what Turbo Spicy did before they get returned to track. Turbo Spicy out on their initial. Glitch back on track. Glitch now out on their initial. Bench coach for Thunder, Dane, telling Turbo to call it off. Unfortunately, Turbo Spicy is not lead, being that both serve penalties. There is no lead and it will be a 2-minute jam. And this will be the last jam for the half. Most likely. Not necessarily, but most likely. Unfortunately, it looks like Turbo Spicy took a hit to the face. You didn't see it, but they are struggling a little bit with making sure that they are feeling okay and safe to go back on. Has re-entered the pack. Jam being called off of its natural conclusion. Just waiting to see what happens in terms of whether there's going to be another jam for this half. And intermission has been called. So they are having a 15-minute intermission and then we'll be back. welcome back to the second half for the VRDL Thunderbees versus the BCR Red Kennedys. The Red Kennedys are going in with a lead of 50-39 for this. We've just got the officials all coming back into position. And we've got our lovely off-skate official, Bruznikov, yelling out hello. And we've got waves there for Denominator on skates. Lots of love being given. Everyone's just getting back into position. Teams are getting ready to go out. Our camera operator is back. And this is looking like it is going to shape up into a very fierce competition for the second half. We have lining up 0-8 Pulp Friction versus 2-5 Sawyer Legs Off. Sister Violence with the whistle to start the second half. Quimby offering offense to help Pulp Friction get up to the front. But being well and truly held at the front there. Managing to get out for lead. Sawyer being stuck in a very solid, almost rhombus at the back. Being knocked into the middle and having to come back and reset. Curl's being called for a penalty for Thunder. Not that that made it any easier for Sawyer, having to go up against a solid tripod at the back. But Friction's found that they're stuck in a tripod of similar strength up the front. Managing to move around on the inside to get through for their first scoring pass. Through for another scoring pass. Looks like we have a star stash happening for BCR. Except for Happy Little Vegemite is being stuck trying to block Pulp Friction, who manages to get through and call off right at the end of the 2 minutes anyway. Oh. And that has managed to do a score change with Thunder now 51 to the Red Kennedys 50. We now have Shreds and Glitch up on the line. An official timeout being called, giving a chance for Jigglytuff to get the pivot helmet cover thrown to them last second. A little bit of discussion, making sure everything's correct from the officials. Oh, Glitch with a lovely little spin on the outside, remaining in, getting through for lead. And Shreds out. Not that far behind. Some good awareness there from some of the Thunder skaters to make sure that they protected their points. Mayfang remaining out the front. So it was only a 2-point pickup. We now have Turbo Spicy versus Riley. And another lead change, with it being Red Kennedys on 53 to the Thunder Bees 51. Riley through nice and easy for lead. Basically just ran down the outside line. About half a track in front of Turbo Spicy, who's out on their initial. A bit of a hard knock there for one of the blockers, taking a little bit of time to get back up. Riley picking up points and being told to run this one. A nice little juke to the outside to get through, picking up more points. Turbo Spicy finding it a little bit difficult to get through for their scoring pass. And Peppermint Crunch making it very difficult for Turbo Spicy. They managed to get past Peppermint Crunch, but then had to deal with axle rolls. But have picked up their 4 points. Scare Bear giving the direction for late just to make sure that their blocker in the penalty box got out before called. Riley calling off just at the exact second that occurred. That was a 12-point jam for them. Picking up, taking the score, Red Kennedys 65 and Thunder Bees 55. Shreds out again as jammer for Thunder. Up against Speed Angel. Shreds with lead. Thunder still stuck in the pack at the moment. Scrapple Pie out there with Quiet Riot, making it a bit difficult, but Shreds has managed to get through for 4 points. Speed Angel still stuck in the pack at the back. And going for the Star Stash. Only has 2 blockers now to get past, and a little bit of creative-o there, helping them throw for their initial. Another 4 points being picked up by Shreds. And Dane on the bench with the yellow train. They're going to run this one, pick up as many points as they can while it's been successful. Except for Speed Angel has managed to get through pretty quickly on that one. Only having 1 blocker to beat on this scoring pass, where Shreds has been held well and truly by the 4 BCR blockers. So that was a 11-8 jam. Thunder Bees now 66, Red Kennedys 73, and on the line we have Kaiju and Sawyer legs off. An official timeout being called. Looks like there was a late penalty being assessed during that official timeout. So when this jam gets underway, 2 VRDL blockers up against the 4 for BCR. Ooh, bit of a switch over. Kaiju taking a seat on the till from jamming, and Friction being replaced. Well, I shouldn't say Friction being replaced. Friction taking the place of Kaiju. So you're out for lead. Curl's trying hard to give some offense there for Friction, but Sawyer came up too quickly and then ended up having themselves blocked by their own teammates, which happens more regularly than what you think. Both VRDL blockers are back on track, so now it's a 4-4 pack lineup. Friction out for their initial pass. Sawyer calling it off. That was a 4-point jam. So Thunderbees on 66, Red Kennedys on 77. Nice clear direction for the timeout being given to VRDL. They're taking the opportunity to have a chat to their lineup on track, or VRDL go through their conversation. Rolling whistle to signal the end of the timeout. VRDL's lineup taking the track, and we're going to have Glitch versus Kaiju. Looks like both jammers being assessed for cutting penalties. So a very, very quick jam bounce in the middle. A little bit to the advantage of the Red Kennedys, just because they managed to sit first. Glitch getting through for their initial. Stash happening by Kaiju. Into a successful star pass to Booger. Because both jammers were in the penalty box, this is going for the full 2 minutes. Both jammers out on scoring passes. So at the moment we're just pretty much going lap for lap. No team really getting an advantage. Jam comes to the end, and the only advantage came right at the end. Booger was in a slightly better position on track to manage to pick up 2 points right at the very end, taking it to a 14-12 Jam. And that brings it to Thunderbees 80, Red Kennedys 89. We have Riley versus Shreds, and both of these jammers are actually very quick, so this is a good lineup. I will put it, Riley's got a bit of the advantage, only having 2 blockers from VRDL to get past. Getting a nice fast lead. And out on the scoring pass, while Shreds has managed to get themselves stuck in the pack. Now out on their initial pass. Ooh. Calling from the ground, Riley calls it off. Picking up 6 points. So Red Kennedys 95, Thunderbees 80. The Thunderbees haven't actually had a lot of game time together. They do train together an awful lot, but this iteration of the team is relatively new, so they're still kind of all getting used to it. Whereas I know the Red Kennedys have been a pretty solid team for the last few years. And just that team awareness is really starting to show because they know who's got what when. Speed Angel out for lead against Pulp Friction and calling it off quickly. Not managing to pick up any points for either jammer. I've been quite impressed watching BCR for the first time today. This has been really interesting seeing the strong lineup. The tripods that are just really managing to clamp down on the jammers and everything. It's very impressive to watch. And Turbo Spicy having a little bit too much speed on their trying to take the inside and managing to fall over a little bit. But then managing to keep themselves in play nicely, even though they did a little bit of a skid on the apex. Picking up lead. I believe it's Sawyer legs off, being held by the 4 blockers of VRDL. Peppermint Crunch doing a little bit of offense there, trying to help out. So yeah. And then having to get back in play to hold Turtle. So you're out on the initial. Turbo through for the scoring pass and calling it off. That was a good 8-point jam for Turbo Spicy, taking Thunderbees to 88 and Red Kennedys 95. Just over 15 minutes left of the game. Shreds versus Glitch. Glitch with a nice sneaky down the outside line, getting through fast. They're into their scoring pass while Shreds is still stuck in the pack. Not yet out on their initial, just making it out now. Glitch calling it off after picking up 3 points. A little bit of confusion there from Thunder. 5 seconds being called before realising there was no jammer out there. Dane doing the very quick timeout call to make sure that nothing would happen before the jammer was present. But this is their last time out, which means the only stoppage that they can do in this half is now down to their official review. If it's to come to that, Red Kennedys with 2 timeouts and an official review as their stoppage is still available. The officials are taking their chance to chat some things through, make sure all their paperwork's correct, all of that. With it being such a close game, they'll be taking any opportunity that they've got to double check everything. So we're going to have Riley versus Pulp Friction. And a phenomenal spin on the outside gets Riley through the lead. Picking up cheers from the crowd in appreciation of the moves. Friction now out on their initial pass. Quick call off there, meaning Riley only picked up 1 point. But when it's only 11 points the difference, points protection is key. You want to make sure that you maintain the lead as much as you possibly can. Kaiju versus Speed Angel. Slight advantage for VRDL as they've got all their blockers out there, whereas BCR's got one in the bin who's basically returning straight away. Bit of a knockout, meaning Speed Angel having to recycle all the way to the back. Curl's trying to provide some offense to get Kaiju through. Scrapple Guy doing a good job of keeping pack, going back into shore up the lines, keeping back, shoring up lines. Neither jammer is out for lead, although just as I said that, lead has been assessed to Speed Angel. And Kaiju with the quick start pass to Booger. Again, calling jams quickly, trying to protect all points. And with that, that 1 point that Speed Angel picked up takes them to 100 with a 12-point lead. So Thunder Bees 88, Red Kennedys 100. Shreds versus Glitch. This has been an interesting lineup between the two jammers. And Glitch once again with that lovely outside quick move through the pack. Shred's getting a little bit of a whip there from Quinby. Pack is sped up, trying to protect points as much as possible. But that kind of worked in favour of Glitch. However, no points successfully picked up for either jammer. So smart pack direction there from VRDL to keep it rolling, keep it moving fast. They don't want too much of a lead being built up, because this has been very tight the whole way through, so you don't want to let one team get too far in front at any given time. Turbo Spicy up against Sawyer Lexoff, and Sawyer Lexoff with lead. Ten minutes left of the game. It is still anyone's game. So they're just making sure that they don't give away too many points at any given time. Being called off. Jigglytuff took a bit of a hit. So they were probably lucky that it got called off when it did. Timeout being called by Red Kennedys. And while the timeout's happening, it looks like Dane's having a bit of a conversation with the head ref. Probably just double checking a couple of things. And while there's only just over 9 minutes left of this game, coming up is going to be the Chico Rollers versus Ballarat Rat Pack, which should be a great game to watch as well. Both teams are quite friendly with one another, but didn't really get a chance to play against each other in the local competition, so they'll be looking forward to playing each other in this one. We have Pulp Friction lining up versus Riley. And Riley with great footwork on the inside, managing to spin over the top of the Thunder wall to get through for lead. Hitting the pack just as Friction managed to get out. Riley picking up 4 points and calling it off before Friction can hit the back of the back. I believe that this is VRDL Thunder's second game today, whereas it's the first game for Brisbane, I believe. I might be wrong on that, but I don't have the paperwork to show at this stage. So if this is Brisbane's first game, I am looking forward to watching them in their second. Brisbane's actually brought 3 teams down for the weekend. Oh, we've got Shreds out for lead. And Glitch still stuck in the pack at the moment. Although just breaking it out now. So the Brisbane City Rollers have brought their A, B and open gender teams down for the tournament, which is great. Shreds managed to pick up 2 points, keeping Red Kennedys to 0. Currently an 18-point lead to the Red Kennedys. Speed Angel and Turbo Spicy lining up again. These two have gone up against each other a few times. for mixed results as to who gets lead. Speed Angel out for lead this time. Turbo Spicy not too far behind, only about quarter of a truck behind. Managing to call off before Turbo Spicy hit the pack, picking up point for the player out on track that they pass, as well as the one in the penalty box. Official timeout being called, track maintenance needing to be done. Both the jam line and pivot line being checked out, making sure that it's all nice and safe. Rolling whistle from Sister Violence. We have Friction and Riley ready for the 5 seconds to be whistled. Jammer on jammer action there. Friction realising that Riley was trying to take the inside line where she currently was. Managing to block her for a little while to hold him up. But Riley out for lead. Friction with the Star Stash. Had a little bit of trouble getting the helmet cover off. Managing to get out Fellini. No, it's not Fellini. Out on their initial, but Riley already calling it off. Shreds versus Sawyer. The Red Kennedys just slowly, solidly building that lead. Under 5 minutes left. Up to a 23-point lead at the moment. Penalty being assessed on one of the BCR blockers, opening the line there for Shreds to get through for scoring, not scoring, to get a lead. Now on the scoring pass. Sawyer's still in the pack. And that small lead that I mentioned was starting to be a bit solid build-up. It's now starting to get a little bit smaller as Shreds scored twice now. Star pass has occurred. And we now have Bad Wolf out there as the jammer. When the star pass has happened, Dane's given direction to Shreds to keep this one running while they're being successful in scoring points. Shreds, however, went, no, I'm going to protect the points that we've just managed to claw back. I'm going to call this off and reset before Bad Wolf could score. That brings it to 106 for Thunder, 117 for the Red Kennedys. And that was a lovely 16-point jam by Shreds. We now have Glitch versus Turbo Spicy. Glitch out for lead very quickly. A few people hitting the ground. Spicy now out on their initial. Directions for call-off to occur. Dick just taking a moment to get up again after hitting the ground. 121 for the Red Kennedys to 106 for Thunder Bees. Riley versus Booger. Riley with a great, I think nearly every time I've watched them get lead, it's been to the outside. But because I've said that next jam they do, it'll be all to the inside. Both jammers out for scoring passes. Just managing to call it off without Booger getting any points, while picking up 2. Under a minute and a half left. Kaiju versus Glitch. 123, 106. Slight blocker advantage to VRDL. Not that that's really worrying Glitch. But Kaiju managing to sneak through to get lead. They are less than a quarter of the track in front of Glitch. Packer started speeding up. Quick call off there. No points either. Bit of discussion from the head ref with the outside pack refs. Probably just making sure everything was legal. Official timeout being called while the discussion is happening. This will be the last jam. And we're seeing Riley versus Friction out there. Ref huddles happening on the inside and on the outside. NSO's double checking their paperwork, making sure everything's good. Just watching to see if anything came of that discussion. First huddle has broken up and getting back into position, but the other refs are still discussing. And it looks like a penalty has been assessed to Kaiju, the jammer for VRDL Thunder of last jam for a skating out of bounds. Penalty, which means Riley's on a power jam. 30 seconds to start the final jam with. Passive offense being provided by BCR, going into a bit more active. Riley getting lead, taking out Pee-wee the ref, calling off the jam. And it's now gone to an official timeout while they're just double checking things. Currently sitting at unofficial score just while that's happening, getting the score back to the period clock. Just waiting to see if they're going to decide that it's a rolling whistle or another jam. I'm going to assume rolling whistle. Both jam refs currently double checking scores and whatnot. Being that this is a sanctioned game, they're all making sure everything is above board, everything's all signed off, approved, double checked, all of that jazz. And there's Sister Violence with the final whistle. So the Red Kennedys took that, 123 to the Thunder Bees, 106. I've been Judy Bench. Coming up on this track next is the Rat Pack versus the Chico Rollers. That was an amazing game to watch. Thank you for joining me.